Welcome to Dogtown, Night City's new district introduced in Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Despite the fact that it's inside Night City's borders, Dogtown is its own entity. Things work a little differently here, and we're going to go over everything we wish we knew going into Phantom Liberty for the first time.
Fitting, isn't it? How the prettiest thing here in Dogtown is a monument to the dead?
Number 1, how to start Phantom Liberty. There's a few ways to find and start Phantom Liberty, but let's start with the easiest. When you start a new game, you can skip right to the beginning of the expansion. You'll be at level 15 and have a handful of perk and attribute points you can use and some cash to spend. If you've already finished Cyberpunk 2077, don't fret. You can load up an old save and you should get a call from Songbird.
V? Can you hear me?
If you haven't finished Cyberpunk or you want to start a new save, you need to complete the Voodoo Boys arc in the main story. Your journal will tell you which quests you need to prioritize if you want to play Phantom Liberty. I personally highly recommend starting a new game from the beginning over reloading an old save. There are a handful of decisions from the main quest that affect Phantom Liberty's story, and having that context makes everything a bit more satisfying. Also, starting fresh will give you a chance to familiarize yourself with all the changes in 2.0. Number 2, wait for the right time. Once you enter Dogtown, you're stuck there for the first few missions. While there are some shops early on, I recommend tying up any loose ends before you meet Songbird. Eventually, Mr. Hands will ring you and give you permission to enter and leave the district whenever you want. Number 3, Relic Tree. Phantom Liberty introduces a new skill tree called the Relic Tree. This adds a few extra skills that can be unlocked with relic points. Songbird will unlock the tree for you fairly early in Phantom Liberty and give you 3 relic points. These abilities are pretty dang cool, so definitely look them over before committing any points. Throughout the story, you will get more relic points, but you can also find more points scattered throughout Dogtown in Militech crates. When you're near one, you'll hear a pulse sound and your HUD will glitch out a little. Follow the signal and jack in. An R on the minimap may also appear. Easy. Number 4, emergency caches. As you explore Dogtown, you'll come across red pillars of smoke. These are emergency airdrops that contain cash, weapons, and resources. These spawn infinitely, so don't stress about hitting every one, but if you do, be ready for a fight. Barguess, the new military faction, patrols these drops and they will shoot you on sight if you get too close. Number 5, skull icons. Pay attention to areas marked by skulls. They contain high-level enemies and tend to house high-tier loot. Better yet, most of these battles take place in some interesting locations, such as a dilapidated air and space museum. Make sure to explore every inch of Dogtown, as there are plenty more secrets to uncover. Number 6, gigs and side quests. The gigs and side missions in Phantom Liberty are very good. However, don't feel the need to knock them all out immediately. Throughout Phantom Liberty's campaign, there are a few moments where you will need to wait for key characters to call you. We recommend saving most of the side content for these stretches. Near the end, you might be waiting days for characters to get in touch, and it's better to spend that time doing gigs rather than napping for weeks straight in your apartment. Phantom Liberty's gigs and missions look different in the journal, so if you want to focus on just those, look for this background. We won't spoil anything here, but early on you can do a side job in a theme park, and yeah, you should definitely check that one out. Number 7, carjackings. While you're exploring Dogtown, you might come across a car with this blue steering wheel icon. If you jack one of these cars, El Capitan will call you and ask you to bring it back to his chop shop. It's not as simple as getting from A to B though. Enemies will chase you down, so you'll need to put your new car combat skills to the test. It can take some getting used to, but one of the best techniques is to look behind you and shoot. The lock-on system should do the rest. Once you do your first one, a bunch of carjacking missions will open up throughout Night City. Completing them will earn you cash and eventually let you purchase some of Phantom Liberty's new vehicles. Definitely worth the effort unless you're like me and stick to motorcycles. Also, don't forget that car trunks link directly to your stash if you need to swap out weapons. Number 8, there's a very big decision. I won't spoil any details, but there is a very big decision you'll need to make in the last third or so of Phantom Liberty. Trust us, you'll know it when it happens. When it does, make sure to save before. Both routes are very interesting, and we think it's worth seeing how both sides play out. Also, in both routes, there is a decision that can lead to a new ending for the original game. If you want to see that, definitely make sure to save. However, you don't need to start the Nocturne mission in order to access this ending. Once you're done with Phantom Liberty, just chill for a couple weeks and things will fall into place. Number 9, food vendors. Food vendors didn't serve much of a purpose in the original game, but now they sell food items that give permanent buffs. These are expensive, usually costing 10k plus, but they are worth it. These food items will have the same background as iconic weapons and gear and will be used immediately upon purchase. Number 10, double jump or charge jump. Possibly the most important piece of cyberware you can get are reinforced tendons or fortified ankles. These will allow you to jump higher, and they are super important when it comes to getting around the world, especially Dogtown. If you're starting a new game or reloading an old save, stop by a Ripper Dock first and make sure you have either of these upgrades. If you skip to Phantom Liberty, you'll start with reinforced tendons. For what it's worth, I prefer double jump, but to each their own. Either way, this will save you a ton of time and open up more traversal options. Number 11, cyberware. While we're on the topic of cyberware, we also recommend picking up some weapon implants, i.e. mantis blades, monowire, gorilla arms, or a projectile launch system. The new relic tree is largely built around enhancing those implants, so once you've unlocked and studied the relic tree, head over to a Ripper Dock and install one that fits your playstyle best. If you skip to Phantom Liberty, you'll automatically start with mantis blades. These skills can create some interesting effects, especially with the monowire implant. I use the monowire, which let me automatically upload quick hacks to enemies when I hit them. This can create some interesting effects, especially with gold tier quick hacks. For example, Sonic Shock will automatically down an enemy hit with memory wipe and reboot optics. We recommend saving your game and playing around with all the different options. Number 12, new threads. This isn't a tip per se, but there are a ton of new clothing items to find and purchase, and many of them look sick. Thanks to the clothing update in 2.0, you can wear whatever you want without having to worry about armor. The first clothing shop even has a headset that lets you view your character and their outfit in the real world. Plus, new clothing items are automatically added to your wardrobe, so once you've acquired them, they can be shredded for parts. There you have it, 12 tips to get you started in Phantom Liberty. Let us know some of your character builds in the comments below, and for more Cyberpunk 2077, you're already in the right place.